Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing well. We're going to talk about food and food supply and what I believe. I know I've been harping on this a lot lately, but I can't stop because I want to get the message out to everybody around the world to start to store up now. And because what I see on the horizon over the next 6 months is going to be pretty tragic. And the reason why it's going to be tragic is so many people are just unaware. And it sounds funny, but I'm going to give you a concept here and why it's important to share this right now and how we could actually do something about these food shortages and this upcoming famine. It is a fact that a certain percentage of food is wasted throughout the world every day, all right? We actually provide an abundance of food, but there's a couple of problems. The supply chain, getting the food to the right people at the right amount of time, and also we have an issue where sometimes we get too much food into one certain segment of a population, and there is waste, all right? And waste can be all kinds of things. It could be human error, it could be environmental, all kinds of different situations, right? So if we are prepared ahead of time and we store food, right? We don't need to hoard it. We don't need to get crazy because again, if you hoard it and you don't use it, that also adds to waste. But if you are diligent and you store food properly, food that you would use in the proper amount of time, we could actually take that percentage of waste around the world and we can use that to our benefit and not waste it and then benefit from it when we have very serious times like famine or drought, things that would lead to famine, right? But right now, what's coming is a multitude, a myriad of issues, everything from the war in Ukraine to supply chain problems, breakdowns because of the economy reopening around the world, right? And some parts of the economy, like in China, closing down because of what's going on over there with the cough. Sorry, I have to even use those words, but if you understand in this day and age of information being held back, you'd understand. But I'm sure actually NinjaNation does. And if you're new to NinjaNation, consider subscribing because I want to bring a message of preparedness, but also that preparedness leads to a total blessing because as the world goes crazier, you're going to be able to find success when everybody loses their minds. All right, guys, this story is out of the Brussels Times. I'm gonna link it below. It's entitled 40% of Belgian food producers to halt or reduce activity. And before you turn off the camera and say, well, I don't care because I don't get my food from Belgium and I'm not from Belgium, this is very, very important, okay? There's some really interesting stats here. It says as the war in Ukraine rages on, fears for global food security are growing. Even from the relative stability of Belgium, consumers are already feeling the effects. Now it's producers who are sounding the alarm. According to FIVA, the Federation of the Belgian food industry, up to 40% of food producers in Belgium are planning to temporarily halt or reduce their business. Now, this is very, very important. I want you guys to understand this. It says here around 12% of the world's calories come from Ukrainian and Russian wheat. Now, think about that. 12%, when we break it down into calories, things that we need every day to survive, all right? Whether that be pizza, anything, bagels, fruit, anything. 12% of the world's calories come from Ukrainian and Russian wheat. The war... All right, now, this is part of the Economic Ninja channel where you find out, as you're considering subscribing, that the Ninja does not edit. The Ninja had his camera set up on a fire hydrant and it fell over. So we're gonna keep going with this because I just don't have time to edit, guys. I know it's so unprofessional of me. So with 12% of the world's calories coming from the Ukrainian area and Russian area, right now there's going to be some issues, right? It says that has had a profound impact on the global supply chain. There are even fears that the supply shortages could worsen famine in vulnerable regions of Africa. Now, not only do we have the war situation going on, which is very serious, right? But regardless of that region of the world, either Ukraine or Russia, having to slow or halt the production of wheat, which adds to 12% of the calories in the world, you have now other issues around the world, supply chain issues, right? Everything from EPA regulations that are slowing down the movement of stuff with semi-trucks and things like that. We've covered that before. But you also have issues, other geopolitical threats right now, like China and Thailand. Now it says here, hard times ahead. The Trade Federation surveyed 700 of its corporate members to understand how they were dealing with the supply chain impacts of the war in Ukraine. The results are worrying. It says here, around 50% of Belgian food producers are facing shortages of ingredients, such as oil and flour, needed to make their foods. Last year, rapeseed oil was available for $750 per ton. Now the same amount will cost $2,200 per ton. That is absolutely massive. It's almost three times the cost. Around 70% of the companies have had to make changes to their products or will have to in the near future. Products may even begin to taste slightly different. Now that's something we've also talked about. It's one thing to say, oh, the food price hasn't changed, but has the nutritional values changed in your foods because they're having to add different ingredients in just to make the product. Another thing I've talked about that I think is extremely important is the fact that companies like Nabisco, Nestle, all those companies that make prepackaged foods, when we're dealing with this egg shortage that's coming right now, it's happening all over the world because the amount of chickens that are dying through this flu, they don't care what the cost is. They don't care what the cost of eggs is. It could be 10 times as much, and it's only going to increase their cost possibly 10%. So what they're going to do is they are going to pay through the nose for these, cause a massive inflation in the future in things like eggs, things that we want fresh, right? To keep making their prepackaged foods because they are not going to go out of business over this. All right, so I want people to be thinking about that. Now look, I'm going to link this story below and just talk with you for a second. If I'm 100% wrong, guys, good news is you guys stored some food and you could still eat that food. If I'm right, it's going to lead to horrible, horrible things for people that aren't ready, but it's also going to lead to amazing opportunities for people that are. And, you know, there's some morons out there that would say things like, I can't believe that you would, you know, try and make money on the backs of people that are suffering. Well, my job is to warn everyone in the world. If everybody would share these videos, we could get the message out, right? So that kind of comment is, it's stupid. But there's lots of stupid people out there, right? People that will say stupid things like that. Rather than that idiot that would say that thing, go out and share these videos. Because I have a heart of compassion for everyone. But the facts are, not everyone. You could warn everyone. And most of the people in this world will laugh at you and they'll roll their eyes. Those are people that lose their homes, their cars, their livelihoods during times of hard times, because they weren't prepared, they weren't thinking outside of themselves. They weren't thinking globally, they weren't thinking even outside of their own city. So I'm gonna try, and I know you guys, NinjaNation is amazing because you guys are all about being prepared, not scared. You wanna take advantage of this, and you do wanna help people, and that's the message of this. So please consider storing up some more food. Be ready for this, guys. And if I'm 100% wrong, then the great news is all you gotta do is eat the food you bought. So don't go crazy, don't buy things you wouldn't normally eat. Buy things that are healthy. The one thing that I tell people, the best thing is canned food, canned vegetables. Why not get some canned vegetables, you know? Or there are people that are into canning and packing things, you know, like meats and pickling things. Why not do it? I mean, it's so easy to be a little prepared. And then what happens, guys, is your mindset changes and you get this level of peace because you are ready for things. And then you don't have to stress about it anymore. Once you're prepared, now you can go out and start to crush the mountain. Then you start making those investments, that kind of stuff. But we gotta talk about the basics because I think that is so very vital. All right, guys, I thank you so much for watching. Thanks for dealing with the camera. Hey, when life throws you a little curveball, enjoy it. You know what I mean? All right, guys, that being said, I thank you so much for watching. The Economic Ninja is out.